think we started by looking at a variety of different communities in Enfield where FGM might be a prevalent factor. We needed to do some awareness raising in the first instance with professionals before we could start working with the communities. So the thrust of our work to begin with was working with professionals. We then started doing general safeguarding work with community groups, and then went on to more specific work around FGM and women-only sessions and men-only sessions.
Working with the social services, we've been involved quite a lot with social child protection. And I particularly provide guidance and practical ways of dealing with FGM with different communities, particularly Somali. But I also speak Arabic, so it helps that you could actually reach more communities rather than that. So this was just getting funding, was focusing on our work specifically to these groups and what support they needed. So it just cascaded from there.
I think we started to work with professionals first because we knew that there was a total lack of awareness amongst professional groups around the practice. Many people didn't have an idea at all about FGM, didn't know what it was, didn't know that it was practiced, didn't know that there would be a lot of people in the community that had experienced FGM. So we realised that there was a lot of awareness raising to do, because if we want a community to be supported, you've got to have the support networks there first to help them be supported. But this happened in parallel with Cartoon's work in doing a lot of one-to-one health work with the community, of which FGM was a part, but not the whole of the work that she was doing. But we think the support mechanisms have to be there first, and the understanding has to be there first. It's important to have the faith leaders on board as well, which we found locally. Just having a couple of imams suddenly realise the importance of this and say, we're going to include it in Friday prayers. We hadn't known the details of this before, but now we know we're going to include it. So having some of the faith leaders, be they Muslim or Christian, irrelevant, but having them on board to be able to spread the word to the wider community and with authority.
Yeah, it was interesting because we had an imam come and we were giving the graphic pictures and everything, and it was brave of him to say, in majority of the women, I think it didn't feel like, and he was engaging and he's doing something with it, but for him to know that from a women's perspective, you can see the change in itself. And I think that's what we're hoping for it to be continuing, because now everyone, I would say, is aware of FGM. So what do you do next? Most people don't understand the cultural aspect of FGM, and that's where I come in most of the time. So it's easier for a practitioner to understand and engage, because this was a hard thing even for the GPs. They were asking us questions like, how do I engage someone who's gone through FGM? But to make them understand that it's a normal thing for us, when the people who are doing it, it's normal for us. So it's a normal question you will ask if someone had got pregnant or was smoking, or it didn't really make much difference to the community.
We noticed that people had a misconception about who was likely to be affected by FGM. A lot of people felt it was something that was only relevant to teenagers and hadn't realised that they needed to be engaging more with parents of children under fives, really, because they'd misunderstood which age range might be affected by it. By addressing the mental health issues, a lot of the women have felt confident to come through and do lots of other things, and that might be something as simple as going swimming or going to the gym. We run some women-only sessions at the weekends. Just doing things like that, which helps you build up your social circle, build up your confidence, and actually become more a part of the community. And the more you become a part of the community, the less you feel that you're being judged and challenged, and being judged was something that came up again and again and again, particularly from our community champions, who spoke about however hard they tried and however much they wanted to be good parents, they felt they were always being judged, and it was always being assumed that they were pro FGM.
I think the mental health workshops were really good in that it got dialogue going, and then people were able to communicate about things that they might have experienced but were uncomfortable talking about.
So if you're coming for a mental health workshop, it's better to come for that than an FGM workshop, because no one's going to turn up. So this was a way that you actually get to the community and make sure that they understand.
Sustainability is a big issue, because we can't do all this work with the community and then drop it. And we've got more people coming into the country who may be affected by this. It's something that has to be ongoing, and the support has to be ongoing. And although quite a lot of people have come forward for emotional support, there are probably hundreds more out there that have not yet come forward, because for some people it takes a long time to want to come through the door and talk to somebody about their problems.
There has to be a link, and we tend to support the people. And so either the people do self-referrals, or the schools refer to us, or the social workers refer to us. So then it's up to us then to support that person, find someone who culturally understands them, and then also find a psychologist or counsellor for them to support them with their process. And there is none available, and I think that has to be the major gap that needs to be filled. It seems like the powers to be, they want to do massive workshops. I spend so much money on campaigns, and we're doing this, and rather than just thinking, okay, what does each community need? How can we make it? Can't generalize it, but at least to a point. You've got to get over the language barriers, because you don't need interpreters. Particularly nowadays, you need advocates, and some I think the funding's not there.
I can just imagine the fear that would be, oh yeah, the police and social services are going to come to your door. This whole conversation then is going to be dead quite quickly. So I think it's about the language that's used. It's about not labelling people, making them feel like as if they're a criminal. This is a cultural norm for them. Sort of like encouraging people who are scared to come out and to talk about something so that they can help others. Because at the end of the day, we support one woman. That means she's got about 10 friends. She's going to share that information. That's 10 more women we've reached. And if we close that door, then we've lost our opportunity.